welcome back to Ill Blur Matic. What is going on, guys? I'm back with a solo live. It's Monday. And I gotta say, man, we are back and we're gonna talk about some more this time around. But this time around, we're gonna talk about one of the movies that did $1 billion in the box office for Sony and Marvel twice with this actor Tom Holland. And we are talking about Spider-Man 4. What I know so far about Spider-Man 4, and things that you may be shocked or surprised by. So let's talk about the first thing. A lot of people have been spreading mad rumors about this, and I'm like, nah, there's no way. At the time, Holland made $1 billion off Spider-Man No Way Home and Far From Home. He's not returning. Tom Holland is returning for Spider-Man 4. So I don't want to hear nobody else talking about, oh, he ain't returning. He's quitting. He just took a hiatus from acting for Spider-Man. I mean, the man's been locked into the Marvel contract and Sony contract. So there is no reason that he's not returning. So it's been confirmed he is returning. So don't worry. We're going to see Tom Holland again play Spider-Man. So that's terrific. Honestly, I don't know, man. You know how you feel about actors, sometimes them getting replaced. And I can explain probably why people thought that Tom Holland was officially done. Him just talking about hanging up the cape, not wanting to be Spider-Man no more. Yeah, I'm not worried about him not returning. There's no reason for him to quit. Honestly, he's making money off of it. Of course, bro. Grandmaster Low, you're absolutely right. The movie did $1 billion. The last two Spider-Man movies. Tobey's trilogy didn't even do that. So I was like, he's coming back. There's no way this man's not coming back to make more money. Now, the next thing, making great money. Facts. Making great money. The next thing is people have been wondering, will Spider-Man be a team-up movie? Now, there are two things that I've been hearing about being a team-up movie, and yes, the answer is yes. The first thing is that this is going to be a Spider-Man and Daredevil movie, like superhero team-up for Spider-Man 4. Honestly, I like the idea of it. Ever since I saw like Spider-Man Homecoming with Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man, him and Iron Man working together, Spider-Man and Iron Man, I was like, I like the chemistry there. It made an interesting film for it to be the first film for Homecoming. I'm here for that. Yes. And also we'll see Charlie Cox again playing Daredevil. So I like the idea of it. It seems like they're going with this street edition, like Avengers. So honestly, I think it's a good idea. I mean, like I said, Charlie Cox does a great job playing Daredevil. All right, like I haven't seen anyone else touch Daredevil as much as he has, where it's like, yo, this guy is the GOAT for Daredevil. Don't get me wrong, Ben didn't do a great job playing Daredevil, but Charlie Cox killed the role. He came and nailed it. Now, the next thing I want to talk to you guys about, and this right here makes complete sense because I talked about this before quite a bit. We're going to see Miles Morales in Spider-Man 4. Now, the thing about this is I'm not for sure how big of a role we're going to see Miles Morales in this film. A lot of people don't know, because I talked about it in a few of my Spider-Man videos, that Miles Morales was originally supposed to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. That probably would have been a 4-hour movie if they would have included Miles Morales. But I'm happy to hear that Miles Morales is a part of this movie. The reason I say that is because they already revealed the villains, and I can talk about the villains right now. Kingpin, Prowler, Scorpion, Mr. Negative. If Prowler is in the movie, then pretty much Miles Morales is going to be this first introduction to the Marvel MCU, will be Spider-Man 4. It makes complete sense. Like, you can't have Miles Morales without Prowler. It don't make sense. That's his enemy. That's his uncle. Like, it don't make sense. So it's good to see that Miles Morales will be in this film. Now, who is playing the character is still unknown. I know at some point the Blackish actor was the original choice for Miles Morales. I really hope they kept him. I'll be honest with you guys. He's a younger actor. His name is actually Miles in real life, Miles Brown. So I'm like, he's got the name. Like, it wouldn't be right if they just like, hey, man, we're going to recast you. Nah, man, keep that man. Let him get his shine so we can see him debut in Marvel's universe. You know what I'm saying? Because we all know they've talked about Sony is in the early stages of a live adaptation Miles Morales movie. So it's like, well, let's keep it. Let's keep the actor. Miles Brown, hope he still gets to get. Yeah, Brown, my bad. Yeah, Miles Brown. Yeah, I hope he still got it too, bro. Honestly, I was like, y'all don't need to cast nobody else. Keep that man. I just hate that they couldn't include him in the last movie. I think that would have kind of made the movie a bit lengthier, and maybe they didn't want to go that direction because now you got all these villains. You're introducing a new Spider-Man character, and it probably would have took away from it because you got Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, you got Electro, you know what I'm saying? You got Green Goblin, Lizard, you know what I'm saying? All these other characters, and it probably would have stole his actual shine. But yeah, it's very likely that we'll see Miles Morales in this movie, but how big of a role or how small of a role is still unknown. I'm pretty sure he'll probably be the one to face off Prowler in the movie. That would have been great if they had a credit scene. Yeah, you know, they had a couple scenes, Grandmaster Lowe. They had a couple scenes. So the one scene they had, there was a scene where you see him and his uncle like near a vehicle. There's another scene. There are like a couple different scenes, like a younger Miles Morales when he was a kid, and Spider-Man like kind of coming to save him from some type of disaster. It looked like maybe from Green Goblin or like either another supervillain that was in No Way Home. But at the end of the day, it worked out. I mean, I guess they was like they didn't want to put this character in that movie because maybe they thought that it would take away from the character. People probably would have, like, people are curious enough to see Miles, don't get me wrong, but all this other stuff going on, Doctor Strange, all this other different things, then the other Spider-Man, it probably would have overshadowed his debuts. But, you know, it's cool. It's cool that they decided not to go that direction. The next thing that I do know about Spider-Man 4, we'll have 4 villains. Kingpin, I honestly thought this was the best choice ever because we haven't seen Kingpin since Daredevil, Hawkeye, in the animated Spider-Man cartoon. So I'm like, yo, this is great. We're going to see Vincent, the guy that plays Kingpin in the up-and-coming Marvel shows and even Daredevil. 4 villains. 4 villains. First is Kingpin, one of my favorites from Spider-Man as a villain. The next one I want to talk to you guys about is Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is probably one of the newer Spider-Man villains. Also talked about this with Goddess with a Pen. He's very new to the Marvel MCU. He was in the game. That made sense to have Kingpin if Daredevil was going to be right, bro. Definitely. You see where I'm coming from with this. Yes. Yeah, but they're going to have a Spider-Man 4. It wouldn't be right if they didn't have Daredevil introduced right along with Kingpin being in his first debut film. Since, you know, the other Daredevil Ben Affleck, I got to give it to the original other Kingpin. Rest in peace to that guy, man. But yeah, man, definitely. You can't have a Daredevil without a Kingpin. It's like they go hand in hand together, right? I think that's great that they're introducing him. Like I said, the other villain is Mr. Negative. He's kind of a newer Spider-Man villain. Like I said, I don't know who they're casting for him. They haven't even said that just yet. Yeah, RIP. But I'm glad that it is Mr. Negative, a villain that may be a little bit more cunning, a little bit more strategic. He's kind of got like a mobster feel to him as well. I wonder if that's who Kingpin may be working with in this next film. We don't know that just yet. But Mr. Negative, I like the choice. He's a Daredevil villain, Cloak and Dagger villain, and Spider-Man villain. So he has 3 heroes that are pretty much the villains. I remember seeing him in Spider-Man for the PS4 and PC. Crazy villain. His powers are very interesting for him to be a villain. I was like, he's an interesting cat. So, Mr. Negative. The next villain is a Miles Morales villain. This is why I highly think that we're going to see Miles Morales in this movie. Mr. Negative can be really compelling. He has a good side, then the bad side. Yeah, he's got that duality nature, Mr. Negative. Of course, bro. True, he does. And then we're going to see that probably within the film. They're going to have to get a really good actor that's like Asian and that can play that part really well. I mean, I know there are Asian actors out there. I don't know how big of a roster, you know what I'm saying? But hey, if they can find someone that can pull that role off, he may go down as a great villain for Spider-Man. The next villain is Prowler. And the reason why I say Miles Morales may appear in Spider-Man 4 because Prowler is his uncle. They're still uncertain if they're going to use Childish Gambino to come back to play Prowler. Because remember, in Spider-Man Homecoming, he was, in fact, Uncle Aaron, Miles Morales' actual uncle. But they have not really said if they kept him for the role. The reason why I hope it's still him because I think he did a good job as a pre-Prowler. He hadn't become Prowler just yet in Spider-Man Homecoming. Remember, he was working with Tinker and some of the other Spider-Man villains. And I was like, well, you know what? He did a good job for just, casual Prowler. But then again, not Disney. Marvel is known for recasting actors. So they may recast Childish Gambino, but they have not said if they kept him or not. I mean, he was in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. So I'm like, well, if that's the case, you guys should keep him for the next movie. But I am excited to see Prowler debut. I think it's a good choice. And like I said, if Miles is going to definitely probably be in this film because of that, he is still Asian, probably still can play Prowler too. And we saw him as a cameo. Yeah, fast, bro. We saw him as a cameo in that. And like I said, I think he's a good actor. Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, whichever one you want to call him. I mean, Childish Gambino is his rap name. Donald Glover is his acting name. Definitely, bro. I definitely see if Sony decides to pick him back up in Marvel, great. If not, then so be it. Hopefully, if they find someone else for a recast, that's someone good. You know who else I can see him playing that role? Idris Elba. I can see Idris Elba playing like an Uncle Aaron character if they go that direction, if they recast Idris Elba, Michael B. Jordan. I can see him playing an Uncle Aaron. I can see certain actors play him if they did a recast, but for right now, it's still unknown. But let's talk about the last villain. And this villain, he was introduced in, I want to say Spider-Man, was it Homecoming? Like the end credit, Scorpion. I am glad to see that Scorpion is going to be the next villain. What's going on, Simu? Hey, bro, just chopping it up. Talking about Spider-Man. I love that we're going to see Scorpion finally. Honestly, I feel like Spider-Man has a nice roster of villains, and we don't see enough of it. It's kind of like how Batman is. Batman has this nice rogue gallery of villains, and I'm like, well, who else could y'all do? And Scorpion is definitely the perfect choice. We have not seen him actually become a villain. We've seen him minor, and like I said, a credit scene. Got you on the back. Oh, I appreciate it, bro, man. I hope you're having a decent day, bro. And I love that we see Scorpion. I'm like, yo, we are finally going to see him debut in Spider-Man 4. I mean, he was, like I said, in the credit scene for, I think, Homecoming. And I'm like, yeah, it's good to see that they're not just like, hey, Green Goblin, Shocker, you know what I'm saying? Lizard. Like, no, Spider-Man has a decent rogue gallery. Can we at least get him? I mean, I was happy when they had Mysterio. When Mysterio got in Spider-Man Far From Home, I'm like, woo! And I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal did a great job playing Mysterio. I was like, Sony, Marvel, what you gonna do, right? So let's talk about the next thing I do know about Spider-Man 4. Zendaya will be returning as Mary Jane. Wasn't surprised by that, honestly. I kind of figured the way Spider-Man No Way Home ended, I was like, yeah, she's coming back. I mean, I would have loved to seen them like maybe do something with Black Cat because she has been in some of the Spider-Man movies. Was it Spider-Man Homecoming? She was in Homecoming in the classroom, and I said, man, they should do something with Felicia. But if it's MJ, that's cool too. I kind of figured she was coming back. I mean, come on, like Zendaya doesn't mind playing Mary Jane, and then in real life, her and Tom Holland are dating, so it's like, well, you know, she ain't gonna leave her boyfriend out there to have a new love interest. That's how I really look at it. I was like, she gonna lock that role in. The next thing about this, what's going on, bro? Appreciate it, man, for tuning in. The next thing I know about the Spider-Man movie, I know a lot of us are probably wondering what phase this is gonna be for Spider-Man. Due to the actor strike and the writer strike going on right now across the planet, Spider-Man 4 will most likely be a 2025 like type of actual movie. It will not be coming out in 2024. That was the original game plan. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Marvel originally wanted to release Spider-Man 4 in 2024, but we might not see that until 2025. And maybe early phase 5, beginning phase 6. It all depends on when this strike is over. That's the only thing about the strike going on right now, is because some of the movies that they were going to produce or start filming has been put on the back burner. So this is why it's probably going to be more likely a phase 6, early phase 6 movie, maybe the end of phase 5 Marvel movie, Sony movie, because remember, they're sharing Spider-Man, not Miles Morales, but Peter Parker Spider-Man. And that's unfortunate. You know, things do come up, unfortunately, and we have to accept certain things are going to change. So that's one of them. The most interesting, thing that I did find out about Spider-Man 4, this is supposed to be like his origin, like his first movie. Now, hear me out on this. I'm guessing like maybe his first movie, a breakaway where he's like Spider-Man, like he's not a kid anymore. He's a college student now. Maybe that's what Marvel means by that. It's like, well, yes, in the other Spider-Man movies, he had his friends help when he became Spider-Man. Maybe this is him standing alone and working with other Avengers like Daredevil. We're going to see Miles Morales again. And maybe just showing him debuting as himself as an adult Spider-Man. So I like the ideal of it. I think, honestly, I was like, you know what? I kind of get the angle because, like I said, with him Homecoming, he was still a younger teenager Spider-Man, and now he's becoming an adult Spider-Man. He's going to work for the Daily Bugle. He's probably going to have to figure out how to keep his identity a secret more so. I mean, MJ knows now. Ned knows now. But that's where they're going with it. So I'm okay with that. The biggest mystery that a lot of us have been speculating, because we all know not only did Tom Holland take a hiatus from playing Spider-Man, but also the directors took a hiatus from directing. And who am I talking about? The director, John Watts. Honestly, I'm glad that he is coming back for Spider-Man 4. I think to me, he's like my favorite director for Spider-Man movies. First is Sam Raimi. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Hands down, Sam Raimi is my favorite Spider-Man director. Then is John Watts. But him taking a hiatus, I respect it. I mean, the man's put out amazing work. I mean, come on, Spider-Man Homecoming, the introduction to Tom Holland Spider-Man, besides Civil War, then to come and do Homecoming, Far From Home, and then Spider-Man No Way Home. Come on, the man made $1 billion. Let this man get a break, all right? And I think it's great to see that he is coming back to direct it, because I felt like if Marvel and Sony say, you know what, we don't want you no more, they could go get somebody else to direct it. But it's just like John Watts brings his own uniqueness as a director for Spider-Man, just like how Sam Raimi did for Spider-Man. And it would feel so weird to keep the same director for it. I'm glad of that. Honestly, I said, you know what? I like the idea. Hopefully this works out for Spider-Man, honestly, because like I said, he's a decent director. I was like, I like him directing Spider-Man stuff. I mean, he gave me more of a humanistic approach, like how these villains had struggles with jobs. The first two Spider-Mans, all right, Homecoming, you know what I'm saying? Far From Home, Mysterio was a failed a Tony Stark employee. Vulture was a failed employee. It gave you a humanistic aspect to it, even with Spider-Man 3 to some degree too, No Way Home. And that's cool with me. Now, the next piece of information, which is a bit surprising because a lot of people speculated this, even I did at some point, because the way it ended in Spider-Man No Way Home. Is Ned returning as Hobgoblin? And the answer is no. I think Spider-Man 4 could take the inspiration of Spider-Man life story. It could, man. It all depends on where they want to go. I mean, we got 4 villains. We got Kingpin, we got Prowler, we got Scorpion, we got Mr. Negative. I love the enemy roster for this film. I like this. It's going to have an interesting build-up. I think Mr. Negative and I think Kingpin are going to work together. They're going to be like business partners. And Prowler and Scorpion are probably going to be people they end up hiring to take down Spider-Man and even Daredevil, because I have to tell you guys, Daredevil will be returning in this film like how he was in No Way Home, but just for a more of an action-based role. So I'm glad to see that. But yeah, he's not going to return as a villain. But what they may do with Spider-Man 4, they may introduce his Hobgoblin side a little bit for that movie, and then introduce Ned's Hobgoblin transformation in Spider-Man 5. That's definitely a likely possibility. I mean, we knew eventually Ned was going to eventually turn on Peter Parker from the way Spider-Man No Way Home ended. I was like, yeah, Ned's giving villain vibes. He's giving villain vibes. I don't know anything else, but what I can say is I'm pretty sure Spider-Man, coming from Sony and Marvel, because they're sharing Spider-Man, this probably will be another highly anticipated movie from both studios, because you have to remember the last two movies of the other Spider-Man trilogy both did $1 billion in the box office. The first one, Homecoming, did $1 million. It's probably highly anticipated. It's highly anticipated, and I think they're probably gonna put a lot of money into this film. I mean, we got Prowler, Mr. Negative, Scorpion, you know what I'm saying? Prowler, Kingpin, you know, so they're making sure they're gonna give us, the Spider-Man fans, what we want. We're gonna see characters we haven't seen. I honestly can say I'm glad that we're gonna see Daredevil, like I said before. Love the team up, but also I forgot something. I can't talk about this. One other thing. Originally, a lot of people thought this, and you know what? At some point, they were thinking about doing this, but it seemed like Sony and Disney don't want to hire the man. Let's talk about it. So the fact that I forgot to mention, he was originally supposed to have been in Spider-Man 4. John Berthel was originally supposed to have been in Spider-Man 4, but he goes on to say that they don't want to hire him. Dang, that would have been epic. That would have been epic. John Berthel, Spider-Man, man, that probably would have been an M-rated Spider-Man film. Honestly, I think that's how it would have been. Because remember, Punisher's a little bit more darker than Spider-Man when it comes to like his story and everything. I guess that's probably why they went with Daredevil, because they already have seen Charlie Cox's portfolio when it comes to acting. And yes, he was originally, John Berthel originally, that's who they had in mind. But it seems like the studio, they don't want to hire him. I don't understand. They won't even give him a TV show, man. So yeah, it's unfortunate, man. I mean, I mean, maybe there's still some hope that he'll eventually be in Spider-Man 5 or 6, but nope, he's not showing up. Wait, who? John Perthrall, the guy that plays Spider-Man on Netflix, the Punisher, excuse me, I should say. Yeah, the guy that played Punisher and Daredevil, then end up having his own show. The guy from Walking Dead. Yeah, he was supposed to have been back as the Punisher from the Netflix series, but they don't want to give him an opportunity. So I guess he moved on and said, you know what? Well, it looks like my coworker Charlie Cox got the part. And, you know, they probably had to make a tough choice because you got to realize Spider-Man is a popular character. And if, oh, yes, I know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. If they would have went with John Perthrall, not to say he did a great job playing Punisher. I mean, even the people before him, Thomas Jane, Ray Stevenson, those two, all those three Punishers are my favorite Punishers. I mean, the other guy, Lyndon, before him, he was all right. You know what I'm saying? That was before my time. I guess they had to realize, because remember, Punisher is more of a mature Marvel character, and Spider-Man can be mature and it can be kid friendly. You know what I'm saying? So they probably looked at maybe how they could like reel that in. And they probably say, you know what, it'd probably be better if we use Daredevil because Punisher is a little bit more gory for a Marvel character. And I think it's great because, like I said, they're already going to introduce Kingpin anyway, so it will be very interesting to have Charlie Cox return back as Daredevil to help Spider-Man to fight these other villains and stuff, right along with Miles Morales. But yeah, it's unfortunate, man. You know what I'm saying? It sucks that they didn't want to hire him. I mean, like I said, the guy does a great job. Ever since I saw him in The Walking Dead, I was just like, he's a good actor. He's a good actor. I've seen him in other stuff too. And he's just one of those actors where you're like, you know what? He's a great actor. You know what I'm saying? Whatever role he gets, he knows how to make it not necessarily interesting, but appealing enough to say, you know what? He played the mess out this role. But you guys, let me ask you this before I go. Are you looking forward to Spider-Man 4? Like, this is definitely gonna be, I think it's gonna be a highly anticipated film. And my next question is, what interesting facts did you learn from this live stream when it came to Spider-Man 4? Was it something that were there some things that you were unaware of? What were some things that surprised you that originally was supposed to happen? But other than that, guys, it is a blur living in the world, guys. Thank you so much for coming by the stream. Like I said, guys, I'm gonna keep it sweet and short. I'm not gonna keep you overboard. This is not pop culture. So you don't have to worry, like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, guys, let's just have a wonderful holiday. And everything, the Punisher thing. Yes, I understand, man. I understand. I feel you on that. But have a great day, guys. And I'm out. All right.